What's going on, everyone? I got an avatar up today, which will probably be for the next few videos. Went to Vegas for a conference and started getting sick my last day there, and now I got the beloved C virus. But the show must go on, and we got one here from the wall. Women hitting the wall. Women regret feminism. Let's get into it.
The court notified me that my final decree of divorce has been approved by the judge. I know that it sucks being alone. I come home and I'm alone. I go everywhere alone. I don't hardly talk to him anymore. I don't blame him. I filed for the divorce. So I'm sure people are wondering, well, you filed. Why are you so upset? Why are you crying? Just because you make a decision that you think is going to end up making things better doesn't mean that you have to give up the fact that you love that person or that you did it because you were trying or whatever. I've never met anybody like him, and I've never loved anybody like him either, but I don't want a divorce. I still am very much in love with my husband.
All right, this is a classic example of the post-divorce regret. You can see it right on her face. The woman files for divorce, and now she's grappling with the loneliness. She's wondering why she's upset after making this choice. Well, the truth is that many women believe the grass is greener on the other side, especially when they're being told that they can be free and it will lead to happiness. But once that decision is made, reality winds up hitting. Suddenly the house is empty, the emotional support system is gone. What many women don't realize is once you initiate divorce, you lose more than just a relationship. You lose stability, companionship, and often a lot of support you took for granted. For men, this is a familiar story. She leaves and then she regrets it when the reality of being alone hits. A lot of guys have been on the receiving end of this, and it's no surprise that some of men have opted out of serious relationships altogether. Anyways, on to the next.
Yesterday I told my husband I wanted to be separated from him, and people keep saying sorry, and I'm only crying right now because that was probably the hardest thing I've ever done. I truly thought I was going to be with him forever. And I still love him so much, and I wanted it to be different, but it's not. It's okay to be upset. This is 17 years of my life we're talking about. Somebody I shared children with, who I built a life with. So yeah, say sorry, but also say congratulations for also being really fucking strong. Because that was not easy.
And here we got a woman trying to celebrate her strength for filing divorce after 17 years of marriage. She's asking for sympathy and validation for a decision that she made? Seriously? But here's the thing, a lot of women today are convinced that divorce is some kind of badge of honor, some proof of their independence, and they make these decisions, throw away decades of a marriage, and then ask for an applause. Meanwhile, the fallout for that decision affects the entire family, especially the children. This is exactly why men have zero interest in marriage. The deck stacked against you. Women initiate majority of the divorces and then expect to be congratulated for being strong. And then they're the ones who dismantle their families.
That was probably the hardest thing I've ever done.
This woman told her husband that she wanted a separation from him after being married to him for 17 years. Now, she didn't go into great detail about what happened, but we should all know and understand that he was incapable of loving her with his entire heart. Without words, we know she tried everything because her tears said it all. There was frustration in her tears. There was love in those tears. There was strength in those tears. There was bravery in those tears. So I'd like to say to this woman, congratulations. It takes a strong woman to ask for a separation after 17 years of marriage. You thought you were marrying a life partner who's going to love you wholeheartedly in return. We know you didn't come to this decision easily and that you struggled with it for years. You only get one chance at life, and you can't waste it on someone who's not going to desire you and treat you like the special person you are. We are proud of you. We know you didn't arrive at this decision easily.
Sip! We see society's narrative at work again, painting the woman as a hero for asking for a separation. Really? Now, let's be real here. She's being congratulated for walking away from a 17-year marriage. The message that's being sent is that women are brave and strong for choosing divorce, while men are expected to just deal with the consequences. Really? And what about the husband? What about the kids? The guy is likely blindsided by all of this. This is the kind of mindset that's poison. It rewards selfishness and places personal happiness above commitment, responsibility, and family. No wonder men are increasingly walking away from marriage altogether.
Well, guys, I think you finally succeeded. I think I have lost the absolute last shred of hope I had that there's still good men left in the world. Just went on a date. I thought it was going well. Talked nonstop, not me, back and forth, for over an hour. And then all of a sudden he had to take a call from a client. And he never fucking came back. And I got stuck with a $90 tab for his beers and pizza. So, yeah, I'm not doing this anymore. 4B movement all the fucking way from here on out. You guys suck.
This is just classic. She goes on a date, guy bails on her, and now she's swearing off all men altogether. I'm not saying it was okay for the guy to be ditching her, but her reaction speaks volumes. There's that sense of real entitlement there. She's out here expecting to be treated like a queen, but the dating market has changed. Men have caught on. We're no longer putting in the effort when we know the game is rigged. She's got a $90 tab, so what? Tough break. Deal with it. Men are getting taken for much more in marriage, so forgive us for not shedding a tear. This 4B movement she's referring to is part of the problem too. Women opting out thinking they'll get better results elsewhere, but they keep getting disappointed because the dating pool isn't what they expected. Welcome to modern dating. You made this dating pool. Now deal with it.
If you're contemplating getting divorced, here's something to think about. If you purely want to get divorced because you are unhappy, which is a very good reason, by the way, to get divorced, still think about this. On average, studies show that 5 years post-divorce, people's happiness is back to where they were in marriage, meaning they are unhappy again. The happiness rises just after divorce because finally you're free. Finally, this person is out of your life. Finally, you can live the life you've always wanted to live, except often we don't, because there's so much baggage that we carry around with us that didn't just change because we got rid of the person that was in our lives. Maybe our unhappiness comes from our career. Maybe our unhappiness comes from society telling us we need to be great mothers and motherhood itself is sucking us dry. Maybe unhappiness comes from many other factors, but unless we address that unhappiness component, happiness will not rise post-divorce. You may want to ask yourself, is happiness truly your goal? And if it is, can that be achieved by working on yourself right now and working through what makes you happy with your partner? Because studies also show if you stick with the marriage and work on it, both of you, you actually increase your happiness within the next 5 years. So you could be happier in your marriage than divorced.
Here we get some advice about divorce and happiness. She's talking about studies that show people often find themselves just as unhappy 5 years after divorce as they were before. This is exactly why so many men are going their own way. Society keeps telling us that divorce will bring happiness and that it'll be liberating. But the reality is, most people just swap one set of problems for another. Divorce doesn't magically make everything better. It just creates more issues. Women are fed this lie that divorce will solve their problems, but rarely does anyone encourage them to stick with the marriage and work through issues. Why? Because society profits from divorce. Lawyers, courts, and the entire system thrives on it.
Divorce is harder on men. People do not think that divorce is harder on men because men move on quicker. But what they don't realize is that these men are grieving. They don't have a social network to talk to and to be supportive of them, so they're moving on. Men bottle up their emotions, and that results in depression and anxiety. Generally, they don't have a lot of people to talk to about this stuff, and they're not able to really express themselves and talk about the terrible feelings that they have. Generally, men's health declines. Many men self-medicate, turn to alcohol and drugs because they don't have a support system. And then they rush into new relationships because they don't want to be alone. Now, not only are they grieving over one bad relationship, now they have two bad relationships. And then there's the kids that they feel that they've lost. Their time sharing, their visitation is not always 50%, and they feel that they've lost touch with their children.
And finally, this brings up a point that doesn't get talked about enough, is divorce hits men harder than most people realize. Women might have their emotional support system, but men, we're expected to just suck it up. The truth is, men often spiral into depression, turn to destructive coping mechanisms like alcohol and drugs after a divorce. The system doesn't care about men's mental health, and society doesn't either. Men lose access to their kids, half of their assets, and their stability. The emotional toll is devastating, but no one is telling men how to handle it. This is why the men going their own way is growing. Men are realizing that the risk of marriage and the inevitable fallout of divorce aren't worth the potential rewards anymore. Anyways, guys, this is the world we live in, and men are waking up, and we're no longer playing the games society wants us to play. Marriage, dating, and relationships have become such high risk and low reward in the West. Us men are responding accordingly. Again, guys, sorry for the video with no camera on me. Like I said, I just got back yesterday from Vegas from a conference and picked up the C virus, and it's going to look ugly trying to paste everything together with the camera, and I'll look like I'm jumping all over the place. But if you guys like what you've seen, hit that like button, share, subscribe, leave me a comment down below on what you guys think, and I will see you on the next one. Peace.